Hey y'all, what's going on? It's BarbMeetsWorld, and we're back to discuss the Real Housewives of Potomac season 10, episode 11. Lease up, giddy up, y'all. But before we get into all that, you already know I need you guys to do a few things for me and my channel, which include liking the video because it helps me and my channel in terms of the algorithm, helps me attract new subscribers such as yourselves. So go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become a Barb's babe. I would love to have you drop down in those comments. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the episode as well as my commentary. Share me with all of your folks near and far. And don't forget to also hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads or my live streams or my collabs, all the things. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. Hey y'all, what's going on? I am going to yoga right after this, so that's why I have like my workout get up on. But nonetheless, we are here to discuss the Real Housewives of Potomac, like I just said. And quite honestly, this episode was interesting, and I'm not gonna lie, I thought leading up to this episode I was gonna feel a little bit differently on certain things, but in the end I actually surprised myself with how I felt, how I was left to feel about those same things. So let's jump on into it. Why don't we? The episode begins with Tia. She was hosting the ladies at her job's polo event. I feel like there's been so many polo events on Bravo. As much as I want to go to one in real life, I'm a little polo evented out, I feel like, at this point. But nonetheless, we also saw her older brother. I did see online a lot of people were saying that they weren't really picking up on an accent with him. That's neither here nor there in my opinion, because I remember I went to school with a girl and her brother was like a year or two above us. And I just remember when she first came to our school when we were in elementary school, her accent was very pronounced. She's from UK, if I didn't say that already. And her accent was very pronounced. And I do remember, like, over the years though, it got a little bit more muddled. So that does happen over time, depending on how long you have lived in a certain area. Or I've always been of the understanding that we speak the way that we're spoken to. So over time, I do think it's quite natural that one person's accent may kind of start to go away or whatever. I think it's just based on, who you are and how you speak. Anyway, so yeah, the ladies minus Stacey begin to arrive, of course, and they hop on the Sprinter. And because all of her work folk is going to be there, she, of course, wants the ladies to be on their best behavior. Like, don't get out here embarrassing me, y'all. Totally understand that. Jassi, speaking of Stacey, Tia explains that she disinvited her, go figure, after what we saw on episode 10. And so she just tells the ladies about this. And Jassi's like, I'm really going to need to hear a little bit more receipts when it comes to my girl, because I'm just not understanding. Of course, nobody else other than the messiest person to date, pretty much. I mean, alongside Gizelle, of course. Ashley is the first person to say, oh, well, did you hear that she didn't want to come to your wedding until she found out that me and Wendy were going? Now, although that may be true, again, Ashley, you should be the last person having something to say about anybody else moving snake-like. Okay? And again, I do appreciate Jassi. That I feel like that just speaks to Jassi's character, how she's like, I'm just needing to see more. I find that hard to believe. Of course, I don't want her to be gullible or naive, but I do think it is something to be admired when a person, especially on reality TV like this, is sticking true to themselves and how they feel about a person and the friendship that they have with a person. I don't feel like it is the wisest thing to just take whatever somebody tells you and run with it. You should really go and verify that information with the person that is in question at that point. So Jassi, yeah, that's her plan. That's how she's going to handle it. I do know, and I know I said it to you guys a few reviews back or whatever, that Jassi said on an interview she has smoke pretty much going into the reunion for a particular housewife. I do feel like at this point it must be Stacey. And again, y'all, I'm not saying that I don't believe that that's not the case. I do feel like Stacey's moving and navigating throughout this group in a strategic way, and that could have been one of her strategies. Not really spending too much more time trying to get to know or show up for somebody who's not going to be on main cast, and it's going to get me it's going to elongate this 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 2 seasons of fame, so to speak. Do I agree with it? Absolutely not. But I understand that may be a tactic she's using. Just saying. I forgot to throw up my banner. 1 second. Y'all follow me on my socials. Okay, so they get to the game, and they actually wind up singing the national anthem, or shall I say the Black national anthem, that Ashley had no idea existed, but is the same person that wants to police Stacey's blackness later on in the episode. Yeah. As you can see, I don't see it for Ashley. Moving on, so they sing it and everything. Apparently, Angel's also a trained opera singer. Didn't know about that, Angel. See, that's what she should be leading with instead of picking these imaginary beefs with the Wendys and etc. Just saying. Jassi winds up pulling Ashley to the side once again to ask her about the comment she made. And she still is not believing it. I want to see her address it with Stacey at this point. They also were asked to stomp the divots, like the holes or whatever, in the ground on the playing field. And Wendy was like, oh my gosh. I don't, there's poop out there or whatever. I was like, I mean, I didn't feel like it was that serious. You could just watch where you're stepping, but that's neither here nor there. So Ashley also took time to point out how Angel was once the one that said they weren't making much of an effort to include her in the group. And this would have been a good time for her to remedy that, because they had like a moment while the game was going or whatever. We see Angel and Kay sticking close to one another, having a little chat or whatever, where while Angel could have tried to branch out and speak to some of the other ladies that she doesn't really speak to as much. And her whole thing is she's not going to pander and beg pretty much for anybody else's inclusion or attention or anything like that. And I'm like, I don't think it comes down to you begging as much as you can't not try to extend an olive branch and then expect everybody else to just come up and share that same type of enthusiasm towards you then. Because they can say the same thing. It works both ways. But anyway, I guess that makes too much sense. And Angel's whole thing is like they're gonna all be all right, even her and Miss Wendy. Miss Wendy didn't give a fuck. Okay. Miss Wendy didn't care. Miss Wendy was over it, and rightfully so, based on how Angel's been coming at her all season. Fast forward to 18 hours later though, y'all, we see Angel at home packing in utter disbelief that they're going to be going back to Colorado. And they're going back to Colorado because apparently there was a mix-up with dates, and the landlord pretty much was like, oh, okay, thank you guys for staying. You can exit stage left, which caught Angel off guard because apparently they thought they booked it for longer, and obviously that wasn't the case. So they got to pack up and go. They don't own anything in the home besides their clothes. So none of the furniture and stuff, they don't have to take any of that, which I feel like was probably a big relief. But they're going back to Colorado until they can find a permanent home in Maryland, like they've been looking for the last, since the season started. And she even specifies in saying that this has been going on for like 6 months. I'm still going back to my original thought when it comes to that, y'all. And that's, if you guys have the coin, if you guys are being so specific in your requirements for your home, why not just build from the ground up? Why not buy the land and build from the ground up? Especially when you guys do all these type of outdoor activities and services and stuff like that. It wouldn't be maybe a bad idea for you guys to buy a big piece of land, several acres, do like a homestead compound type of situation. And maybe you could even run your business, from your property too. Like what, like, I don't know. That's just my logic. If I was in that situation, and I don't know if I said in my previous recap that her Colorado home is gorgeous and stuff like that. There was, I forget what channel that was on, but she did a tour and stuff. So yeah, they have a certain type of style that they're probably looking for that may not be readily available. You might have to build from the ground up. Like, I don't know what's so far-fetched about adopting that idea in 2025. Anyway, what else? So in comes Kay. She walks right on in, and Bobby's like, damn, we don't even knock on that no more. Like, oh, that was funny. And she's like, what's up? What's going on? Like, what's happening? And Angel, of course, lets her know what's up. And she's like, huh? What? You can't leave me? Oh, God. And actually, Tia winds up coming through as well. She actually does knock. And it seems like she might have already caught wind of what was going on. And she's like, what's up? Whatever. And Angel's like, yeah, we got to go. We got to get up out of here. We got to go back to Colorado. And this is also when Tia kind of extends her services to help Angel out. She's like, I didn't want to really mix, business with pleasure, but, you got a realtor, but she ain't Tia. And I think that was nice of her to want to help them out. Hopefully this is completely just genuine. And once you guys do form a professional relationship, I feel like that just should eliminate any mess going on between you guys, because yeah, that is mixing business with pleasure now. So I like to think that if Tia cares about her business, she wouldn't want to extend her services only to then be messy towards this girl on the show. Like, that's just stupid to me. But anyway, they begin to start helping Angel pack and everything, and then they leave. And when Tia leaves, we're in the car with her, and Gizelle calls her almost instantly, almost as though she knew she was there and she knew what was going on. Just throwing that out there. Never put it past anybody on this cast. And she invites Tia and her family to this Cowboy Potomac party or whatever. I guess this was around Cowboy Carter or whatever. And Tia then tells her that she's just leaving Angel. She's having to pack up and go back to Colorado because the lease is up. And of course, Gizelle makes this a big ass deal in true Gizelle fashion. And she's like, oh, she just came here for the show then. And Tia's like, no, that's not it. I didn't say that. And I'm like, Tia, you should have known you knew exactly what you're doing. You know exactly what type of chick Gizelle is when you said that. But anyway, and Gizelle, she's putting 20 on 10 pretty much by saying that, well, I guess, Angel just doesn't really like us as much as, really like us that much or whatever. And I'm like, how are you making, like, tell me you're self-centered without telling me you're self-centered? Because how is this lady and her housing situation have anything to do with you, with her liking y'all, you as a group? Like, what are we talking about here? And Gizelle is always trying to make fetch happen in areas that it's just not, it's not happening. It's not happening. So just leave it alone. But anyway, Wendy and Eddie, they take Keiarna to her gymnastics lesson. Not too much with this scene, except for she's kind of going into details about how she wants to navigate this situation between her and her dad, and she's just ready to address it and move on. He supports it. He sheds some light on how he's handled his familial relationships and stuff in the past. And so hopefully we see that. Hopefully she gets to the bottom of that and gets what she needs out of it. Stacey invites Kay out to talk. First of all, Kay has said before that she is allergic to cheese. I'm assuming yes, it's a straight up allergy. It's not like she just doesn't like it. It's a no nonsense straight up allergy. So Stacey asked her if she wants to start out with the burrata, and she's like, "No, I'm allergic to cheese." And Stacey's like, "Oh my god, I didn't know," or whatever. When the waitress comes over, Stacey's like, "Okay, so I want to start out with the burrata." And in her confessional, Kay is like, "No, I told this girl I don't eat cheese," and yada yada yada. And she's ordering cheese. Okay, just because you don't eat cheese, and unless it's like an airborne allergy where you can't even be in the vicinity of it, I don't see what the problem was with her ordering it for her at that moment. Yeah, appetizers are usually to share, but I have and do sometimes order my own appetizer and finish it off just for me because I want it. So what is the issue? Anyway, bottom line is these are two ladies that should get along, but they don't. These are two ladies that started off on a good foot, but now they're not. And Kay does come at Stacey with a certain level of aggression. She does. I'm not saying she's swinging on her. I'm not saying she's straight up bucking, but she does come at her with a certain level of aggression. She likes to try to call it passion. I don't really believe that because I feel like you should have had that same level of passion towards other people who played in your face on this show, and you haven't. So anyway, Stacey's like, you do, you come at me a certain way. And Kay's whole thing is she doesn't want her to be in fear for her safety. She doesn't want this to always be the landing spot where the conversation goes. And she lets it be known that she doesn't want to cause Stacey any harm. And whoop-de-whoop. In the end, Stacey does request that Kay comes to her and speaks about things and that she's heard about her instead of taking it and running with it and then using that to fuel the level of aggression she comes at Stacey with, pretty much. And that's how I feel. But anyway, then they end on a positive enough note with the whole, all right, Detroit, all right, Baltimore. I was like, yes, Stacey, you better let her know, because they keep trying to play on your top about Detroit, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I already told you guys last week how I felt about that. I don't like it. Anyway, so Gizelle, this was messy. Gizelle sits down with Wendy and Ashley, and they all have received an invitation from Angel, inviting them to Colorado. So of course they talk about the upcoming cowboy event or whatever. And Wendy says to Stacey that she asked Stacey to bring the potato salad. And why does Ashley say out of her face, "Oh, there might not be any raisins in the potato salad"? Yes, y'all. This is the same Ashley that in the beginning scene of the episode didn't know that there was a Black national anthem. Yeah, that's the same Ashley. But you want to come up to us and talk about there might not be raisins in potato salad when I ain't seen Ashley cook a near piece of nothing in her kitchen. She is the most flavorless person I feel like on the cast, but wants to police somebody else's Blackness. Excuse me? Anyway, so Wendy, or should I say, Gizelle must inform them on Angel's lease move out situation. And Wendy actually pissed me off because she doubled down on it by saying that one of her friends, who's a realtor, said that a girl came up to her and says that she needs a house in Potomac that looks like $50K a month, but is only going for $2 to $3K a month. She wants to present like she's having this lavish lifestyle, but it's really bougie on a budget. And we got Ashley talking about, "Oh, is Angel broke?" Last time I checked, Ashley, you were just hooping and hollering a season or so ago about how you didn't know how you were going to pretty much make it out here. You're so worried about money and stuff and providing a certain level of lifestyle for your boys or whatever, because that's what you got used to when you were Michael or whatever. And you were questioning if you could even like pretty much keep a roof over their head and fend for yourself. So what are you talking about? Is she broke? And the only reason why you might not be broke is because your ass damn sure up until like this season didn't give a fuck about how you looked on this show. We know that you weren't coughing up the coin when it came to even how you presented yourself to the world. So maybe that's why you feel like you can question somebody else's brokenness. But Ashley, once again, could never say shit to me about anything. Is your mama broke? Because why is she working 13 million hours? Is it because she don't want to wind up under the bridge again? Like, let's not do that. Let's not do that, Ashley. Anyway. Like, she really has some audacity. Are you broke? Because is that why you're still running around with those fucking that sixth toe on your fucking feet, that big ass bunion? Is that what's going on? Like, please spare me. Please spare me. Sorry, y'all. I don't like stuff like that. I really don't. I really don't. And you see how Gizelle just like says messy stuff just to be funny, talking about some, oh, well, I heard Bobby don't like Eddie. And she's like, oh, okay, fine, I made that up. Like, get a life. Get a freaking life. But I was really upset with Wendy because it's like, especially with what she's going through right now in real time, it's just like, girl, why did you have to be the one? Why did you have to be the one to bring up somebody else's financial situation and them trying to present as one way, but really behind the scenes it's giving something else? Because as much as Angel gets on my nerves up here with some of her antics sometimes and the way she comes off sometimes, I don't believe they're broke. I don't know how that happened. But when it comes to the Airbnb, I don't know how that happened, but I don't think it's because she's broke. They're broke. I don't think that that's the case. I don't. So it's very rich coming from Wendy, in my opinion. Moving on to this Potomac and Ponies event, we see Wendy. Wendy obviously was also a part of it. So her and Gizelle are coming together to throw this, and I was really side-eyeing the one pan of a family meal dinner that Eddie was carrying in on behalf of him and Wendy. They were supposed to provide the fried chicken. Their kitchen is out of commission. I will give them that. But that looked like not enough food to feed everybody. But anyway, that looked like enough for just like their family. Anyway. And then so we also have Ashley bringing in some nasty, cold looking ass catfish that I know she didn't fry herself, or at least I hope she didn't. It just didn't look appetizing to me. They are keep talking about how they wanted to do this potluck style because they, did, it just was befitting for this type of event or whatever. And I'm like, you guys are never beating the Potomac allegations. I'm sorry. It sucks. But anyway, of course, Gizelle's bringing up, where is Angel? Where is Angel? Where is Angel? Y'all know where Angel is, or you don't, or you know that she's having a lot going on in her housing situation right now. So like, Gizelle, just back the fuck off. But watch Angel still have more smoke for Wendy than she does Gizelle. Just watch it, even though it's Gizelle that keeps trying to nitpick. Anyway. So Kay winds up calling Angel on speaker to ask her where she is. And we hear Bobby saying, we going to get there when we get there. And he didn't say it with any type of like snarkiness or an attitude, really, I don't think, as much as I will give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he thought maybe he was just speaking directly to Kay or what have you. But for the Ashleys and the Gizelles, but mainly Ashleys of the group, to get in their confessionals to try to call Bobby temperamental or whatever is completely unwarranted. And that's exactly why husbands don't want to show their faces on these types of shows, because of bullshit like that. And I will actually go over some of the things that Angel said in her confessional, or not her confessional, online following the episode, because she didn't take too kindly about that. And again, I'm with her when she's wrong, but I got to be with her when she's right as well. And that's something that would piss me off too. Full stop. Anyway, Gizelle, yeah, she tried to make it a big deal. And so we have Tia saying like, oh, like, let's be compassionate. She's having a stressful week. And I thought that was cool coming from Tia, but what I didn't find cool is that, like, why is Tia being more vocal in defense of her than her friend Kay of like 20 plus years? Kay was saying a little one too, but it just seemed like Tia was going up harder for Angel than Kay was in that moment. And I made sure to take note of that. So in comes Stacey, and she has her full family, including her daughter and Timo. And so Gizelle already was Joan shade, talking about, oh yeah, this is exactly what I would think a man named Timo would look like. Gizelle, let's not get on what your ex-husband looks like. But anyway, it's just too much. Anyway, did you see Stacey and him kiss though? I'm like, okay, so does Arabella know or not? Like they keep doing little things, and I'm like, she's got to know / see this. Like what, huh? Anyway, and so Stacey did wind up bringing the potato salad. I mean, it looked like potato salad or whatever, I guess. It didn't look like enough. Everybody's portions were off. Was it just me, or was everybody's portions a little off? Just saying. But anyway, Jassi, that macaroni and cheese looked dry. I'm not gonna lie, it looked dry, and I don't feel like bad about saying any of what I'm saying, y'all, because it's, yeah, like I can cook, and I can cook everything that was brought to this event, and I know I could do it 20 times better. I'm sorry. I could cook everybody out their kitchen on this cast, come rolling up like that. Like, they should be ashamed of themselves. Anyway, Wendy takes the mic. She's showing all the ladies a recognition for their contributions to the potluck. And this is actually when Angel came in with Bobby and her daughter. She didn't have her son, but she did have her daughter, who's 1 going on 2. And so she picks right up on Wendy continuing to enunciate the word catfish, enunciating every syllable in that word, catfish. And I'm like, once again, Wendy, I get that you feel some type of way when it comes to Angel based on how she came at you. I get it, but it's just like the way that she's assimilating right alongside Gizelle, and the way that she goes about it is what's pissing me off. I don't like it. Anyway, Angel, of course, clocked it, and she also clocked the fact that this was a half rented space. Ouch. I mean, the truth is the truth, right? Oh, Cameron talking about she got 3 phones and she's about to have 4 when Eddie buys her another one. My goodness, I cannot make this up, y'all. I cannot make this up. They, of course, begin to grill grill Angel, I should say, and about her housing situation. And Ashley's whole thing was like, I understand you as a mom, you're very on top of this, right? And whenever Ashley begins a statement off with, babe or whatever, it's going to be some bullshit every time. And this was some bullshit. This was a bullshit comment to make, talking about, I just find it hard to believe that you're confused about the day. I just don't see it being something that you would do. And then Wendy jumping in it again to summarize things in so many words, just like she did, that kicked off all of the animosity between her and Angel. I'm like, Wendy, maybe we should just sat this one out once again. And she's like, oh yeah, they like the people were saying you were evicted, girl. And they're all like, oh my God, Wendy, like trying to remix it. And yeah, just like I said, I'm like, Wendy, why did it have to be you? Because you are having your best season yet, but you're hard to defend in these moments where it just seems like you were just happy to be on the mean girl train. Like, I didn't like that too much. I didn't. I'm assuming we're going to pick back up there next week, though, when we get into episode 12 or whatever. Like I said, y'all, I thought I was going to be more not on Angel's side, but I kind of am on her side more so with this one because of how the Gizelles and Wendy's are handling it. I don't care for it too much. I'm sorry, I don't. But anyway, y'all, that's all I got. Please, please, please be sure to like the video. I am really, really trying to get my channel to grow. I want to do some other types of content and whatnot. And I really, really, really would appreciate the engagement on y'all's end. As always, I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to drop down those comments. I want to hear from you all. And bye.